It's that time again! Thanks for tuning in! I'm your host, the Joker. Harley! Harley! You see? Let's get to know our legendary contestants.
When I was a kid, all I wanted to be was a pilot. Like my dad. That was my dream. Even when it was a nightmare. That was when I first learned about fear. But if you let fear win, even once, it'll have you by the short hairs for the rest of your life. And you can't be afraid of what life might hand you. So you stand tall, grit your teeth, and fight your fears. By sheer force of will, you shine the light into the dark corners where fear likes to hide. And you defeat your fears, one by one, with a ring or without one. Beware my power. Green Lantern's light!
Welcome to DCUO Legends Spotlight. My name is Jimmy, and today's legends will revolve around Hal Jordan, the first human to have donned a Green Lantern ring, and joined basically the galactic police force known as the Green Lantern Corps. His background is fairly well known as to how he had become this Green Lantern. He has also had a movie played by Ryan Reynolds. It was pretty mixed in reviews. Some loved it for just being able to see a live representation of Hal. Others put it in the "it never happened" category, along with the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Ouch. But moving on, let's see what our legends Hal Jordan can do. Powered by his ring, Hal has the movement Flight, as well as all the other lanterns in general, but I'm just letting you know that his movement is Flight. His weapon in the arena is Brawling, with slight variations to use his ring animation. So you could go ahead and look at the action menu to see the full listing of his combos. Boxing Gloves is the first skill on Hal Jordan's loadout, where he lunges, striking his opponent with boxing glove constructs, knocking them back. This skill does have a secondary function in that it can be comboed by tapping melee after executing the skill to continue striking the enemy with the glove constructs without any additional consumption of power. The initial skill is safe to use on blocking targets, but the combo, however, is not. Once tapping melee to start the combo, you'll be knocked back. So just be wary on when to take advantage of this combo. Also, for AoE purposes, the initial skill is single target, but the comboing is a close range Konus, damaging enemies within the swing of Hal's glove. Force of Will is also another comboing skill. When just executing the skill, it is a range attack that knocks back your enemies while damaging them. To activate the combo, upon executing the skill, repeatedly hold the range button afterwards to endlessly blast your target again and again without any additional use of power. Note that each time the combo strike hits your opponent, they will be knocked back unless they break out or have immunity. Even though the initial execution of the skill isn't vulnerable to lunges, the combo is. So continually using the combo makes you vulnerable to being lunged and getting knocked back. And that is because the combo, when using repeatedly, is a block breaker. So if you have any opponents who are blocking, you could go ahead and initially block break them, but keep in mind that it makes you vulnerable to being lunged, so use it carefully. Against a group of enemies, Force of Will, the skill, is an AoE that damages and knocks back all who are near. However, the combo converts over to a ray, only affecting the first foe to get in contact. So if we look here, we're targeted on Two-Face, but he is conveniently trying to align himself behind his goons. And you see that his goons are the ones that are hit first, only when there are no goons and there's a clear shot to Two-Face. Ooh, lockbox. Okay. Only when there's a clear shot to Two-Face will the combo actually hit him rather than anything else. The next skill on Hal Jordan's loadout is Fusion Blast, where he kind of twirls around, lands on the ground, sends out a shockwave that knocks everyone back while damaging them. This skill is safe to use against blocking targets, but the knockback effect will not apply. As for AoE, Fusion Blast, as it looks, affects all targets around Hal Jordan. That is also front and back. So I'm trying to align myself with Two-Face in front of me and one of his goons behind me. Didn't quite work out, but that's pretty much good enough. So we used Fusion Blast, and you see clearly both of them were affected. Strafing Jet is the skill that is most noticeable on Hal Jordan's loadout, and that would be because he marks the ground that stuns your enemies while sending a jet construct to drop bombs that knock back and places a strong dot. Then finishes off with a panic to have your enemies just kind of wandering aimlessly around unless they break out or have immunity. Now this skill is safe to use against blocking targets, but none of the crowd control effects will take hold as long as your enemy is blocking through the entire animation. And by the looks of it, Strafing Jet is also an AoE affecting all enemy targets within the green mark, inflicting the stun, the knockback, as well as a strong dot. And if that doesn't take care of them, they'll be panicked at the end, so you can re-engage your target and hopefully close the deal. If your enemy is having immunity or are able to break out quick enough from Strafing Jet, they are probably able to avoid a lot of those mass attacks. But that is a hit or miss. The next skill, Light Cage, like the name, encases your enemies within a light construct cage. It stuns them for a brief moment and then delivers 4 ticks of might damage. Unfortunately, unlike other encasement skills, you are not able to pick up your enemies within the light cage. It's probably because the duration of Light Cage is so short. Once the duration of the Light Cage is up, they will automatically break out of the Light Cage construct. Light Cage is safe to use against blocking targets, but the encasement effect will not occur. They'll just take the 4 ticks of damage, reduced damage because they're blocking. In group fights, Light Cage acts as a ray, affecting the first enemy target it encounters. So we see here we're locked onto Two-Face, and he has this little tiny purple goon in front of him. And we used Light Cage, and we saw that the purple goon was encased, stunned, and affected with the 4 ticks of might. And the same happened to the tiny white goon. So keep that in mind when using a Light Cage. The last skill on Hal Jordan's loadout is Swoop Attack. So we've already seen Swoop Attack before, so I'll just go ahead and quickly run through that. The animation is very short, so it's good for comboing or linking skills together. It knocks back your enemies while damaging them, and it is safe to use against blocking targets, but of course the knockback effect will not apply. Against a group, Swoop Attack is a Conus AoE, affecting all targets within the Conus range, knocking them back and damaging them. So let's see that one more time here. There we go. So you see that knockback and initial damage taken. So that wraps up Hal Jordan, guys. I hope you enjoyed seeing his entire loadout. Now, if you are interested in using Hal Jordan for your Legends matches, you could purchase him off the marketplace or through the DCUO website. And of course, for your viewing pleasure, if you have missed the last spotlight we cover Superman. I'll go ahead and leave that easy link in the center right here. If you would like to stay updated with these videos as well as more, go ahead and click that subscribe button on top. And also you can stay updated with me via social media such as Twitter, Facebook, and more, with all the convenient links listed in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for watching and staying in tune. I will see you later. Bye bye!